do it. Man, first off, guys, thank you so much for being patient with me. I know we were supposed to do this last week. I ended up getting the stomach flu from my wife and kids, and then we were supposed to do it yesterday. And I also work in an apartment complex, and it was all hell broke loose. So, guys, thanks for being patient with me because
Great, thanks for having us.
Yeah, no
I've been
problem.
really wanting to do this with you guys, man. And seems like everything that could come up has come up, but we're here now. We're rolling. And man, California Demon, it's reading about it, it's such an easy concept that a lot of people think about so much, but I feel like it's really hard to get it right and to do it well because so many people like that subject that it just gets messed up so many times. I mean, this has been something you guys wanted to do for a while, right?
Yeah, we've had the old Faustian bargain idea for quite some time. Definitely not the first people to tackle it by any means, but it just felt right for what the mood of the riffs were, and it was time.
So what came first, the music or the lyrics? Because the concept came first, obviously, but what came first for you guys when you sat down to finally piece this thing
I
together?
don't even remember. I think the riffs came
Yeah,
first.
it's always riffs first.
Well, not
Okay.
always, but I think for that song, the riffs came first.
Yep. Pretty much always riffs first. Sometimes I think Nothing But Now is the only one we've ever really had the lyric sort of dictate what the song was.
My Kind of Girl came first.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Take it from here, Lucky.
Well, sometimes, just we do almost always do it where the riffs come first. He's right. But there are a lot of times where sometimes there's an idea and it's like, okay, how can I make the guitar reflect that idea? And that happens, I don't know, I'd say about 10% of the time with our music. And I think California Demon wasn't one of those because we had some of my heavier bam, 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 kind of end riffs going before that, especially the kind of Dimebag riff solo thing that we tried to do.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. That's happens occasionally.
Yeah.
So how long did it take to really piece this one together then? And especially how long did it take to get it right and to get it to where you guys were happy with it? Just the song. We're not even touching on the video yet.
I mean, we recorded it in a few days with Mike Pepe.
Okay.
I mean, we did a lot of pre-production ourselves, but in terms of the actual recording process, we had that song done in a matter of 4 or 5 days.
Okay.
And we recorded 2 others at the same time too. So I think honestly that one came together pretty quickly, pretty seamlessly.
Yeah. Usually the writing process, we go and we do a demo ourselves at the home studio, and that was pretty quick too. Other than the final riff barrage idea, the Dimebaggy thing at the end with all the whammy. That one we did it separately. I think that was like finalized about 2 nights before we had to go and do the final recording. But yeah, that one went pretty quickly and seamlessly as they usually do.
Same thing with the video though, because the video,
Yeah.
holy fuck.
Thanks. Yeah,
Damn, guys.
Video took some more time. It's more of a think it out bit by bit, come up with a million different ideas, and then figure out how we're actually going to do those ideas. And then once we finally shoot the ideas, then take the long time to edit it.
And procuring all the props to be able to fulfill those ideas was a huge part of this video too.
Yeah.
That gurney was a funny little element of it, Jake.
Yeah, we had to go and borrow a gurney from my cousin who works at a hospital. She snuck us in the service elevator with one of the head of maintenance dudes, and he brought us to like a gurney graveyard where we got to sift through a bunch of different gurneys, blowing the dust off a few, and then we picked the right one, snuck it out the back door with our workman's outfits on, and he actually like helped carry it into the car for us. It was a heavy ass mofo. So then we made our exit strategy with the gurney on the back, pretending to be service workers of gurney repairmen, and borrowed it for a few days and then brought it back in pretty much as good a condition. The
security guard was kind of watching with like the suspicious eye, and then we got stuck at the gate, and the security guard had to actually swipe his card to let us out. It was like, oh my God, real bad.
Yeah.
Real bad.
That's fucking great. Oh my
Yeah.
God. That's awesome.
We
I
also
got-
had a hobo procure us a shopping cart for that first shot where you
Okay.
see Luke and the guitar. There's a local hobo that lives out front and kind of keeps the more intense riffraff away. And we got him to go and steal us a shopping cart from I don't know where. Paid him $20, and that was the shopping cart that ended up in the video.
He stole from another hobo, honestly.
I think
I
that's
don't
Well, I
think he
mean,
went to
you
a
would,
market. He wouldn't have gone that far. He just went and just jacked it up another hobo.
yeah.
as hobos will tend to do, obviously.
Exactly.
You know, sounds like he's like a hobo bouncer, kind
Yeah.
of like.
That's kind of what it
Exactly.
is. Yeah, he's
Okay.
yeah.
In which case, is it really stealing? Because it's it's just like a temporary transfer. He's
Yeah.
probably going to return it at some point.
And once it's already stolen from someone else, you
Yeah.
steal it from the
It's
thief.
It's all fair game. It's there.
Exactly.
It's written down somewhere. I just don't know
Yeah.
where. But
Yeah. The hobo code.
so did you guys just have a list of like props that you guys wanted in the video with that stuff, or
Yeah,
like,
it was a long ass list, dude. Some of them we had to buy on Etsy, like the girls' horns. I think that was the
Okay.
only prop that was actually expensive. That one was like $50. I think the
Oh,
rest
dang.
of it all we managed to make work for next to nothing.
There was
Nice.
Okay. All the doctor's outfits we got from our cousin too.
Yeah, Jack those. I tell him about the guitar, Luke.
Oh yeah, the guitar that we used to light on fire.
Right.
Obviously, I wasn't trying to light one of my babies on
Yeah,
fire.
that was something I was going to ask about. Like,
Got we found a $30. It was like a Hello Kitty style, graphic guitar, like one of those Fender Squires. Just a kind of a piece of trash type of guitar
From like a
Craigslist.
Kmart or something.
Yeah, one of those like
Yeah.
starter guitars
Right.
but it was secondhand on Craigslist, and then went to a parking lot, bought it from this guy, brought it back to the house, and then spray painted it all black, and you couldn't even tell that it was
yeah.
just a regular guitar at that point. It looked
I
pretty
was gonna say,
sick. honestly.
I don't remember seeing anything Hello Kitty in the video at all,
No, exactly.
but it's there.
The
We
matte,
made
the matte
sure
spray, the matte paint spray paint.
Yeah, the matte black spray paint covered that all up, and it just made it look like pretty perfect for the video. Just a matte black demonic sort of guitar, and then obviously there was no real connection to it, so we were more than willing to light that thing up. And it actually still plays half decent, surprisingly.
Really?
We're gonna auction that off at some point,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So, stolen gurneys from the hospital, hobo, a hobo
cart.
grocery cart, a Hello Kitty torched guitar.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
There's a
Like,
lot of things. There's also like the mirror. I think we got the mirror for like $20. She's like the protagonist is sitting in front of a mirror getting whatever fondled by the devil for a minute, and we had to add the little bulbs to that thing, but that was also another $20 mirror off Craigslist. So yeah, just got to make it work, baby.
so how important? I mean, I really feel like, as far as the music video goes, thematically and just visually, fits the song so fucking well. How important was that to have it match so well? Were you surprised at the final project with how well it went along with the song itself? Because
I think we're
perfect.
surprised that we were able to pull it off because of so many elements that had to go into it. But if you watch the little storyboard that we made before we ever got to finishing the video, it does track along pretty well to what our vision was. I think that's always the best way if you're trying to save money on director's time and everything like that, and studio time, is you come in as to the shot prepared as possible, organize all your shots in the most succinct way possible, and you bang them out quicker.
So how dangerous was the guitar shot with the fire? Because that's real fire. Like, you didn't stage that at all. Like,
No.
how many takes?
So we had lighter fluid, and I had leather gloves on. That was an important element that Jake added that I didn't even consider, but was absolutely necessary at the end. I realized.
We also sprayed him with flame retardant spray that we got on Amazon.
Sprayed me with my arm, my glove, my hair with the spray, so that my hair wouldn't just light up in a moment. But then used lighter fluid on the guitar itself, and a little bit on my hand, and basically lit it up, and we had about 4 to 5 second takes maximum. before it started really burning through the glove. So it was, I mean, it was pretty risky.
It was risky. And every time we would shoot one, Luke was like, okay, that was good. But this time more fluid, more lighter fluid, more lighter fluid. So when it got to the last one, it was just a crazy amount of lighter fluid. And we had to, I think it started catching up his arm. I had to run in with the wet blanket and
Yeah.
It was crazy.
How did I've heard stories. I'm a big wrestling fan, so I've heard the story of Kane and the Undertaker with the Inferno match and how they doused them both in flame retardant stuff, and within 10 seconds of the match, it was gone. Like,
Yeah.
did it stay on well, or was it just
there wasn't enough skin exposed, I feel like, for it to be, for how long the takes were, for it to really like burn. Did I feel it start to burn by the end of the takes? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it never at one point, like at the end of it, my hand had like little red marks on it. That's about it. It wasn't like proper burn.
You definitely watch the end of every one of the takes and you'd be like,
yeah, I'd be
shaking his hand,
shaking my hand out like it had started getting really hot at that point, but it hadn't been long enough for it really to take as a burn on my skin.
Yeah.
God damn.
But we were pretty lucky. I've got an old friend that I used to do work with that has a studio out in Santa Ana, because the first studio said absolutely no way to any kind of flames whatsoever. But our good friend Greg Carter was like, yeah, Jake, whatever you want, man, whatever you want.
Yeah.
So he just let us come in. And brother was sitting in the other room doing taxes or something. He's like, yeah, boys, just do your thing. It's fine. This is awesome. This is awesome. And he was super stoked about it. So I definitely think that, in any other circumstances, without having a buddy that owns a nice studio, you'd probably have to get pyrotechnics licenses and marshals and all kinds of things like that, which
from the fire marshal.
or insanely out of our budget for something like this.
And
so
know-how.
Yeah, we were lucky to pull it off guerrilla style.
It's crazy what kind of stuff, what licenses you have to do just for one little like stunt or spot in a video or anything at all. Like,
I think
it's ridiculous.
Drive around in a car filming these days is completely illegal. You have to have have licenses for that too. So we've definitely broken the law a few times for videos now.
It paid off. I mean, what was like working with Mike Pepe? Because I mean, that dude. And how did you guys get connected with him?
We first met him at a show in Hollywood at the Viper Room.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly if he was there just by happenstance or if he'd been invited by someone that we knew. But he came to our show at the Viper Room, loved the sound. We didn't really have a producer at the time, but we had some songs that we wanted to work on with somebody with. And then we kind of went in there and fleshed it out with him a little bit, started just getting kind of, he showed us around the studio, which was at the time he was working at Barefoot Studios in Hollywood, where Queens of the Stone Age did Songs for the Deaf, and Slash is recorded there. It's a pretty Michael Jackson, or Jackson 5, actually, I should say, recorded there.
I think it was called Crystalline Studios before it was called.
Okay, but it was the same.
Crystal
same
right.
place,
same building.
Different name. Sly and the Family Stone recorded there, so it was a very prestigious, well-known historical, studio. But he was working there at the time. He showed us around all the different little kind of nooks and crannies of the place. And we just kind of vibed out for a while. And then, we just took the plunge. He came over to our home studio, to scope out the demos and to choose between the songs that we had. I think we had about 8 songs that we were looking at, and we could only do an EP of 4 with him. And so we went through all of them together and we kind of fleshed them out a little. And then once we chose the songs, we went in there and we were in there for about, I think it was like 20 days for those 4 songs. And we just banged him out. And it was, that's how we first met him. That's how we first started working with him. And then ever since, I think every one of our productions has been with Pepe since.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's when you're in a studio like that, because I've been in Johnny K's studio where some of the greatest albums have been recorded. Like, going into that room, you feel that energy. What was,
you walk in, you see them all on the wall, you're like,
what was that like for you guys, just stepping foot into the same area that so many of these artists have put together and recorded such iconic music?
It was definitely a pretty powerful moment walking first in, because they've got, like Jake said, all the albums in little
Yeah.
frames on the wall, and like Stevie Wonder, Songs of the Key of Life's on there, and we're seeing Songs for the Deaf, as I said, and all these albums that we've seen and heard for so long. It's like, holy crap, like
Yeah.
this place has got even more so than just amazing albums, because of how long it's been around, even under a different name. It's got like in terms of Western music, foundational albums, like
Yeah.
albums that came out in the 50s and 60s that like have formed the basis of a lot of the music that we listen to now.
Yeah.
Mike could tell us about his little room. He's like, oh yeah, this is the room where XYZ artists used to smoke crack and they would get blowies and blah blah blah, blah. Like, oh yeah, okay, cool.
Tell us all. Yeah.
But he's I think they shut that down. I think it was Eric Valentine. Eric Valentine was the guy that owned that, and he decided to sell it, move on to Nashville. So California Demon was recorded at Fab Factory with Mike, which is a different part of Hollywood, and maybe doesn't have as much history as Barefoot did, but it's a better space for him, and we were more than happy to dive in there with him and do California. In there, it was great.
Yeah.
I just remember being in Groove Master, look around, I'm like, why am I in here? Like, what am I? How am I in here right now? This is weird. This is crazy. So, but what was the most important thing as far as sitting down lyrically to put this song together that you really felt like this has to be in there? We have to talk about this, and this story and theme isn't complete without this.
I think when we approach it, usually we talk about what the general themes are going to be, and then we just sit there drinking together and come up with line after line and throw out this one, throw out that one. But if I was to pick my favorite one, it's one that Luke had, which was you've got the feathers and I've got the tar. I think that's a great line. As far as touching like themes on it, it's what we do very often. It's use a known idiom and give it a different spin to fit the context of what our narrative is on this one. But obviously it had to have this sort of story arc of coming from the perspective of beckoning the young would-be starlet to Hollywood and promising her the world, and then telling her what she's going to have to give up in order for it. And also needs a sort of story arc of like, at the first part, it's like the beckoning. And then the second verse, it's more of the, okay, we gave you what you want.
Exactly.
Now it's time to pay the piper kind of thing.
Gotcha. And then musically, it's so dark. It's musically just fucking dark and just brooding and almost creepy at times, and like almost like you can feel just the sneaking and the just all that. Like, was that something that just came out, or was that when you sat down to put this together, you're like, this is how it's gonna sound?
Started with the main riff, right? The and then the rest of it really just sort of
fell into place,
all together from there. But yeah, obviously it needed the right mood of vocal performance, the right mood of verse, so it has hills,
exactly
valleys.
Well, when the guitar riff was written, and then that became clearly like the instrumental kind of motif. I mean, the chorus is a whole different riff that's also heavy. But once that happened, and we realized that the verse was just going to go down to bass, that kind of fuzzy bass and the tom drums, that's when it really came clear that the vocals needed to be this kind of breathy, open, Manson-y sort of thing to match the level dynamically that was, just the bass and the drums. Because without the guitar in there and it being so low and dark, like the only thing that worked, we did 2 takes actually. We did Jake singing normally, and then he's doing this like super low demon sort of voice that we tracked or mixed, I should say, beneath the regular voice. So it gives it this whole other dark sort of layer beneath that. And then this moment that the heavy guitar comes back in for the pre-chorus part, that one's gone, and it's back to just like the heavy, raw, shouting sort of voice again.
It almost reminds me of that old Snoop Dogg song, which is a similar theme, honestly. It's Murder Is the Case They Gave Me. It's like him having a conversation with the devil, and and then you start tripping and the ass is mine or whatever in the devil voice. It's very similar kind of idea to that, which we haven't really noticed afterwards, but it definitely reminds me of that kind of vibe. It all, yeah, you just got to play the right themes for the right song. We just sort of treat it like it's almost like a theatrical acting kind of thing, you know?
Well, it sounds like now we need the of Limbo and Snoop Dogg tour to take place next summer.
That would be sick.
Like, you know,
We did do a cover of, it's not a Snoop Dogg song, it's Warren G. We did do a live cover of Regulate by Warren G and Nate Dogg. So I'm sure Snoop, if he heard that one, would like that.
Yeah.
I just saw Snoop Dogg with Warren G back in July. So, man, when I listen to the song, I feel like driving down just the darkest, most desolate, sketchy areas of the city, and just in an area where like something's gonna happen.
It's driving around by our house, I guess.
I live in between an abandoned church, an abandoned bar, and an abandoned restaurant. So
that's pretty hectic. None of ours are abandoned, but we definitely have the church across the street, which has a lot of cracktivity, and we definitely have the bar right over there, and then we have the McDonald's where they often log into the Wi-Fi to sell them their bodies on Craigslist. So it's an interesting scenario.
There's a couple concert venues out here that sound like they might be in your neighborhood. I'm just going to throw that out there. I've been to a few shows in those areas. It's not, it's fun. Yeah. So I mean, the rest of the year, I mean, we only got what, like 3 months left in the year, 2 after this month. I mean, touring, more music, more singles. Like, what are we looking at, guys?
Well, we do have a tour. Apparently we cannot mention the details. Unfortunately, I would love to have this been the exclusive right now. But we can't mention the details. But we will be going out, it seems, for all of November.
Okay.
And we're going to be doing the West Coast up through all the way to Seattle, through Montana, down through the Midwest, then up to Chicago, Detroit, a lot of Texas dates, nothing all the way on the East Coast, unfortunately, but Chicago, Detroit, I think is about as far as we get. With who we can't announce, exact dates we can't announce, but for anyone listening that might want to come to the show, that will be announced, I imagine, within the next week for sure.
I hope so, yeah.
What does the band's name rhyme with?
Bimbo?
Just kidding.
No, not us. He's saying the band that we're touring with. He's asking for the people.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
I'll say this. If anyone has listened to any of our interviews before, it was possible that we are maybe gone. We've mentioned before that we were maybe going to go out with them at some stage. That's what I would say.
That could be anybody. To be honest, that could be anybody. It's going to be awesome. Hopefully, you guys make it up. Chicago is not far. Detroit's not far. Hopefully, you guys hit Indiana.
We do have a show in Indiana.
Okay, good. I don't have to drive as far.
I don't remember where exactly, but I know that there's a show in Indiana.
Yes, there is.
Good. I don't have to drive as far to see you guys. Thank God. Beautiful. Good. I will drive. I don't care, but the closer the better. Yes. So fall tour announcement coming soon. More music coming this year or next year or both, right?
I think maybe this year.
We're gonna put more music videos out for some stuff that was already songs that were already released. It's gonna give them some new breath and another little spin around. But I think early next year will be the new music aspect.
There you go.
Probably.
You heard it from the boss, man.
Love it. Man, guys, thank you so much for still doing this interview with me after all of the mishaps there have been. I really, truly appreciate it because this has been a freaking
the setting by Destiny, dude. We match your shirt. The couch matches your shirt now. Yeah. What's that? The curtain matches the drapes or something
nice.
Like that?
There you go.
There we go. That's going to be the title of the interview right there.
Okay. Carpet matches the drapes.
Well, that works too. Curtain gives it more California
curtain
demon.
Matches the
there we go.
Same thing. Yeah. California demon though.
Yeah.
Guys, I love it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This has been a blast. I hope to see you guys on the road this fall. It's going to be fun, guys. We'll catch you guys soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Randy.
Later,
buddy.
Later.